What up, baby? It's your boy, the ATX Sooner, back with another video. And as you can see, we under the lights tonight. I wanted to get that. I'm ready for the game. I'm so ready for the game that this Michigan week, it's finally here. It's what we've been waiting on, man. This is the actual test for our team. And man, I kind of just wanted to go over like what I think might happen this game. Um, First off, let's compare week one for Michigan, and obviously Oklahoma as well. Um, they did play a slightly better team. At least when it comes to conference, they are a Mountain West team versus us. We're playing an FCS team. So last year, New Mexico Lobos they won 5 games last year total, and last year Illinois State lost a total of 4 games. So we can kind of say that the competition is not too far off. Let's of course say if Illinois State versus New Mexico were to happen, it would be a good game. Not saying that Illinois State would just blow them out, or New Mexico would blow Illinois State out. I feel like that would actually be a pretty good game. So it's kind of cool that both teams got to play similar opponents. That way we can kind of pull from last week's game to get a little bit of insight on this game. But like I said, man, New Mexico won a total of 5 games last year. Okay, of course, playing the Mountain West Conference. Still not much of anybody, but a lot better teams than Illinois State is playing. But again, what were they like? Ranked number 6 going into their whole little playoff scenario thing. They lost a total of 4 games last year, so they actually did better than we did. so I mean, when it comes to the team comparison, pretty evenly matched. So here's where the red flags come in for that I think might give us the a slight upper hand when it comes to this Michigan game. Um, let's look at their game. I mean, first of all, New Mexico, they got a total of 21 first downs against this Michigan team. This vaunted defense, and don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying that this is not the case. Michigan has a great defense. Honestly, I would sit here and say that Michigan versus Oklahoma is like two twins fighting each other. Both defensive teams, both offensive lines looked pretty good last week. They looked a lot better on the run side of things, and we looked a lot better on the pass side of things. But question marks still to be had on both sides when it comes to offensive line. We know that the defense is gonna be defending. Let's put it that way. The defense is gonna look good for both teams on Saturday. But again, man, that one big thing, that 21 first downs that New Mexico is able to get on Michigan. Am I pulling hair here? Am I sitting here searching for a needle in a haystack? You're damn right. Okay, we gotta, cause that's exactly what it's gonna take for this game, for Oklahoma to come out on top on this game. Okay, it's gonna take the small things, the small details. That's literally gonna be the only difference. It might be penalties. It might be something similar to just, it could be a turnover difference, or who wins the rushing battle. And a lot of people are talking about Oklahoma. It's kind of a red flag with how its rushing battle looked, or how its rushing performance looked against an Illinois State, which I can say that I'm kind of, I feel that because I was the one sitting here talking about we need 200 yards rushing. We need two 100-yard rushers. I thought it was going to be Torrey Braylock and John Mateer, but it was clear as day that Ben Arbuckle kind of scaled that offense back a little bit, which why wouldn't you do that? You're playing Michigan next game. You don't want, they already don't have too much film on you. The only film they can go back and look at is a Washington State film, which night and day from this Oklahoma team. So you do want to keep that advantage, which that is something that I'll say we have as well. An advantage on is film. Yes, they have a brand new quarterback, but at the end of the day, Michigan does what Michigan does. We know Michigan likes to run the ball and kill you defensively. They like to play. They like to play the time of possession game. which they actually lost last week against a New Mexico team. But and you know what's actually funny? New Mexico actually beat Michigan in first downs by one first down. That's kind of crazy. I got the stats pulled up here. That's wild. But New Mexico was able to go 32 for 48 in the air. Don't let John Mateer do that. You think if we have these same outcomes when it comes to first downs, completion versus attempts, time of possession, we're winning this game. Okay, obviously the rushing yards are gonna have to look a lot better, but that defensive line, that front seven for Michigan is just as scary as ours, man. Like I don't see Michigan going crazy for 200 yards rushing, just like I don't really see Oklahoma going crazy when it comes to rushing like that as well. I think this is going to be a real methodical game. Like this is going to be a chess match between defensive coordinator, offensive coordinators, and this is going to be a game where you got those games where they say, you win it on the field. It's all about the players. But this is going to actually be one of those games where coaching is going to stand out. We have a more veteran coach than Michigan does. Is that going to matter? I don't know. Our coach is our defensive coordinator. We know how Brent Venables is with freshman quarterbacks. It's hard. It's a hard game for those kids out there when it comes to going against a Brent Venables defense. I think Pro Football Focus said that like 7 out of 8 quarterbacks that Brent Venables played at Clemson when they were freshmen had a grade over 60. Outside of that, the only one that had any better than a grade over 60 is, I can't think of his name, but he had like a 80% something. I don't even know what the freaking the statistic was for. But to say all that, it was to say that Brent Venables does not play with freshman quarterbacks whenever it's his time to play against them. He's going to throw all the looks. He's going to do all the confusing things that me and you don't understand looking at the TV. So expect that a lot. Home field advantage. Do I think that's going to be a thing? Of course. There's a reason why it's a thing. And, this year we clearly have a lot of confidence going into this game. It could have been bad, man. We could have been like last year and barely went away or barely scooted off or pulled away from Illinois State where last week you could tell we dominated that game. So we're actually able to carry confidence from one week to the next week going into this Michigan game, which is actually going to help a lot. Again, John Mateer, he went 30 for 37 last week. That's similar to what New Mexico did to Michigan. I mean, so 217 passing yards for New Mexico. John Mateer went for 392. You don't think that that's a talent difference right there that John Mateer can definitely show when it comes to this Michigan game? I think so, man. I think that we have a really good chance of coming out on top of this game. A lot of people say that it's going to be a one-score game or it's going to be a field goal game. I'm not going to lie. I honestly think we might beat this Michigan team by 2+ scores. Like, I think we might win by 10. I think we might win by 14. And, of course, if that ends up happening, bring on all the haters. Everybody who has something bad to say about Oklahoma, they're going to flip their whole takes. They're going to flip their whole opinion. And that's what this game is for. That's honestly what you want. Once you get that favoritism that Oklahoma has to work for. Of course, our brothers down here in Austin, Texas, they don't necessarily have to work for favoritism. And they showed that last week. But Oklahoma has to work for favoritism. We can go to the playoffs and then the next year they talk about, I don't know, this Texas team looks a lot better than this Oklahoma team might look. That's what we're used to. We're used to hearing that. It's not going to change. But so we know that this is going to be one of those games where if we come out on top, and especially if we come out on top how I think we're going to come out on top, it's going to be one of those things where that whole the nation's confidence flips on Oklahoma, and now they're going to look at us like one of the top 5 teams in the SEC, one of the top 3 teams in the SEC. And that's what we need. We need that boost going into this year. let's see. I'm about to pull up our schedule. Who do we have after Michigan? We got Temple, then Auburn, then Kent State before we go to Texas. If we can win this Michigan game, and if we can win it in the way that I think we're gonna win it in, man, you're talking about a top 10 team by the time we play Texas. And who knows how Texas ends up looking? Like we said, that scenario of them losing 3 games before they even get to the Red River rivalry, it's very possible. I don't think it's gonna happen. Don't get me wrong, but it's very possible. I could see them losing to Florida before they play Oklahoma, but especially the way ours was looking out there. But man, what do y'all think about this Michigan game, man? Do y'all think that, it's going to be defensive? I think we're all on the same page when it comes to that. We know that this is going to be a defensive matchup. We know that this is going to be one of those where scheming is going to be the king. And I believe that when it comes to scheming, I put our offensive coordinator over theirs. All right, they're gonna have to do a lot more than try to run and gun against Oklahoma, and they showed that they were able to do that against, like I said, in New Mexico, Lobos. They showed they were able to do a lot. This Michigan team does not look like the Michigan team from 2 years ago, where they're just run and gun, run and gun. They got some shotgun in their system now. They got some down the field passes now, and they got a quarterback that we haven't seen it yet, but we know he can kill us with his legs. But trust and believe none of this is going over Lincoln Riley. Oh my goodness, spite me. I apologize. Kill me in the comments. None of this is going over Ben Arbuckle's head. None of this is going over Brent Venable's head. It's not gonna happen. Okay. This is a team that we can 100% believe in. Of course, like I said, I don't think we learned too much out of that Illinois State game. I think that game was pretty much just a test to show us where we are and to stamp expectations, not more of learn new things, more of like, okay, we can do this. And I don't think that's a learning lesson. I think that's just a confirmation of things that we already knew that we could do. All right, so we got that confirmation. We got that confidence. Let's go into this Michigan game and let's open up that playbook like I know Ben Arbuckle was going to do. Let's open up that playbook like damn well Brent Venables is going to do. Because trust and believe, they ain't seen nothing yet. Okay, and this game film, they're going to have to start, like I said before. Last year is going to be all they can come from. They can only look at Washington State's offense. They can only look at Oklahoma's defense of last year. But I guarantee you, there's going to be some things that we pull out that bag that even we're looking at that camera and we're like, what is this team? What play is that? What is going on here? I've never seen this before. This is amazing. And I'm pretty sure that's how we're going to feel at the end of the game. Score. I got the score, honestly, like I said, I think we're going to win by 10, 14 points. A lot of people think we're only going to win by a field goal, or some even say 1, 2 points. I think I've seen somebody say 20-21. Nah, give me the points. Give me Oklahoma. I think we're going to be probably looking at let's do, I'm going to say either 14-28, or I'm going to say 21-31, both sides Oklahoma. Okay, a lot of people got us winning this game, so that's not a conspiracy theory to believe that Oklahoma can come out on top of this game. Most people actually have us winning this game, so we are starting to get that respect a little bit there. But yeah, man, like I said, the only difference between what I think and what they think is I think that we're going to win this game by a good amount. I don't think we're winning this game by one score. I think it's going to be 10 or more. All right. So what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Am I tripping? Do y'all, who's going to be the standout guy? Is QB1 gonna stand out and show out? Use his legs this game? Is Ben Arbuckle going to allow him to open up that quarterback running game so John Mateer can go crazy on the ground like we expected him to last game? I think so, y'all. I think so. But anyways, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. It's a late night. It's like I said, I wanted to get that game time feel. I wanted to get that under the lights feel. And I think that's what we got tonight. So again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. If this your first time tuning in, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And yeah, man. Y'all know why we gotta go out there and perform. You know why we gotta go out there and go hard this game. It's cause it's in our DNA. Baby. Bye.